after you enter this facility.
And I just got an email from a friend of mine to get it. Wife, he's a physician retired. That's why they sent me some pictures of his beautiful airplane.
Sarah Davis at the time. That would have been early 2000s.
All right, hang on.
All right,
that's
Sam.
a good picture right here. We go.
Let's get a plane in there.
All right.
Okay. Smile for Dr. Freeman.
Okay, here we go.
Cheese, Tim.
Say cheese. Thank you.
Looks kind of Canadian, you know?
Look at the prop on that thing.
Uh-huh.
Baby girl. Airplane?
See the airplane? Ooh. Bubba can look.
Recovered.
Let me, I'll be here for probably an hour or so, but I'll text her.
This reminds me of some
Seeing it?
Yeah. There's no steering wheel.
You're right in this picture.
That's perfect.
That rudder, you don't want
Should be better if I paid him.
to.
What do you
Air
think
show
about
again?
that airplane?
Huh? Part of the air show?
Are y'all having fun?
We hope these are future pilots. We hope these are future pilots.
This one right here definitely wants to be. This one definitely does.
That's cool.
How are y'all doing?
We're good. We're good. Having fun.
Hi, Superman. I love your shirt.
Mafia, I don't think he wants your pictures.
It's a 195.
It's a Cessna, 1952 Cessna 195. I bought it from a gentleman out in Riverside, California about 9 years ago. He'd had it about 30 years, and he showed it all over the country, won all the awards and so on. But he was getting along, and he had to sell it. So it's quite a well-known airplane within the 195 circles. And so when it became available, I was interested in it. So we made him a deal, and I had it ever since. Yeah. Just a lot of maintenance. That's all. Polishing.
What's the history on the 195?
Well, the 195, the first year was in '47. They came out. They were an idea. They're the original business airplane. They're called business liners, as a matter of fact. And they were the plane to go to and use through the late 40s and early 50s until the Bonanzas came out, and they're faster and cheaper. So they kind of, these went out of. They stopped building these in '54. Last year, so from 47 to 54, and they built about 1,100 of them. The military got about 300 or 400. The rest went into civilian use, and I think there's probably 300 to 400 still being flown. Yeah.
And again, the year on this one?
52. Yeah, it was near the end. Yeah.
I remember.
I do too. Scary, isn't it? Jeez, you know how long ago that was? Crap.
Okay.
It's a check-built L-39C Albatross. That particular airplane was built in 1977. They continued to build them until 1996. They're still manufacturing them in an upgraded variant called the L-159. The Russians used it as one of their primary and advanced trainers. A lot of Soviet client states still using them for the ground attack role. Very versatile airplane, very good airplane to fly.
He fly, did
I do.
Fly
He didn't fly,
234 down?
no, he didn't fly it down.
He just happened to be here.
I want to know just what it is and everything about it.
Douglas A-1H Sky Raider. There's only 2 of those flying left. This one saw combat in Vietnam from 1969 through 75. So it got hit out in Thailand and eventually brought back to the States in 1980. And I acquired it about 5 years ago. Got it flying about 4 years ago. So there you go.
Where are you based?
Gatlinburg, Tennessee, Sevierville, Tennessee.
Is this the largest single engine?
You know, it probably is, come to think of it. It is. I think it is the largest.
What was the main role?
Well, the airplane was actually designed for the Navy. That's who got them going, as this one was Navy till '68. So they used them on carriers for just dive bombing and strafing. And eventually the Navy did retire them in '68. And the Air Force found out that these airplanes could fly on station for 6 or 7 hours without having to get refueled. So they sent all the H's and J's to Vietnam, put them to work there.
And you named it Lieutenant America.
I didn't name it that. That was named by a guy that was assigned. This plane was assigned to Randy Scott in '71. He named it that. So some of the I replaced the cowling on this side. The other side's actually got the stenciling that he painted on there himself in Vietnam in 71. Go look at it.
I did. I've already taken a lot of pictures of it.
I gotta show you some more.
Okay, let me ask you one more question. Captain America was already taken. Why did you call it Major?
Well, because he's a lieutenant. He covered up with a couple layers of paint, and I sanded it off real lightly, and that's what Randy put on there himself. I had to put the peace sign back on there. It was totally gone. You can see a little bit of the blue, the red, but the rest of it is gone. So these here are some, come around this way. This is a good bullet hole over here. If you come over on this side, look at that. Well, it's a pair for a small, probably small arms. Probably a 7.62 went in there and exited up there. So it was apparently from the ground. They put that patch on there. So I made sure I kept that. This here's a little bit better patchwork up here. These are bullet holes too. There's one on the bottom that corresponds with that one. Same thing with this one over here. There's a patch on the bottom that goes with that one.
What was the load capacity?
Well, the airplane weighs about 11,500 empty, and they were flying them up to 24,000 pounds fully loaded. So it would carry about as much as a V-17 would. And they were actually designing the airplane to get it into World War II. The prototype flew in 45, but they didn't. Of course, the war ended about around that time.
Did they fly them in Korea?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Navy flew them in Korea, for sure. That's a Curtiss Wright 3350, makes 2,700 horsepower.
12 cylinders?
It's 18 cylinders, twin row radial. Yeah, 3350 is cubic inches, by the way. Douglas made this SBDs. They made those during World War II. Of course, the DC-3. And they made a variety of airplanes after World War II. Then they got into the A-4 Skyhawk was Douglas.
Came down perfect for them over on the other side.
This is a Yak-9U. It's Russian design. Design is mid-40s, 43. It was a fighter aircraft, frontline fighter for the Soviets.
Was this one in World War II?
No, it was not. This one was actually put back together in the early 90s, factory in Russia. No war history, no damage history, nothing else. Just pieces, parts they put together in the factory about 92, 94. It's awesome to fly. It's real responsive. It's nimble. It's light. It's got great power to weight ratio. Turns on a dime. Great pitch authority.
What kind of engine?
This one is actually retrofitted with an Allison 1710-111, which was the Wright engine of P-38 Light. So. The original engine was a Klima V12. They had different versions. I'm not sure the exact engine. Well, mostly fighter point defense type missions, but they also had versions where they actually went out and attacked tank formations. So it was a multi-role airplane, but mostly frontline fighter. You'll see a little nub on the nose there. This to replicate. It had a 20 to a 40 millimeter cannon that was actually placed between the banks of the engine. And then on top there was twin 51 cals. And some versions had hard points on the wings where they would mount rockets or bombs. And then there was one version, you can't see it from here, but see how the tail is so wide. They actually put a bomb bay door on the tail, and they would drop, they called them little cabbages, little shaped charges, and they would fly over the tank formations and drop out the mass of these charges and pop holes in the top where the armor was thin in the tanks. I used to fly it a little more frequently when I first got it. I wanted to really build some positive muscle memory when I first got it, and so I flew it really, I flew it a lot the first 2 or 3 years, and then fuel prices went up to about $7, $8 a gallon, so that slowed me down a little bit, and now the fuel prices are reasonable again, and I've got a freshly rebuilt engine in it, so everything, new hoses, new engine, so it's all running well, running really good now, so I'm flying it more.
Where are you based?
Here at Auburn.
This is the one you flew. Yeah. Right. And you liked it?
Oh, it was a thrill.
That's right. Took Dr. Freeman up in it, and we had a good time. Took a lot of pictures.
You remember how long we flew? I remember.
40 minutes?
40 minutes. You remember how much aviation gasoline?
70 gallons?
60.
60.
60 gallons of aviation gasoline. A wonderful ride.
That's right. Yeah, well, like I said, back when fuel was only $3 a gallon, it wasn't so bad, but it went up to $7, $8 a gallon. Every time you put 100 gallons in, it was...
Pretty soon you're talking about big bucks.
Yeah, you pull out $1,000 bills, and I don't have too many of them, so...
You know, like Senator Everett Dirksen said, a nickel here, a quarter here, a dime here, pretty soon you're up to big bucks.
That's right.
Beautiful airplane, wonderful flying.
All right.
Nice plane, isn't it?
Get a low pass. See that Cessna sitting over there? Silver? That's beautiful. Yeah, that's a beautiful. Yep.
All right, thank you.
Are you on call?
No.
Are you Dr. Freeman? What it is? So what do you think from the cockpit? How is
turbo in it for the engine.
pretty good airport? Fun? Is it fun?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Where are you flying to?
Nowhere.
Yes. What kind of airplane is this? Do you know?
Well,
No clue.
I've been here
Me either.
longer than 25 years.
Ahead of me, if you know. Pretty fancy instrument controls there.
Yeah, I still have, actually, walking around in Holland, they
Have you ever flown?
pasture.
Nope. I've never even been in a plane.
You got some treats ahead of you, don't you?
Socks on and it's comfortable. If you walk, you know, last
Get up there and
over there, yeah,
You okay, Tommy?
try to tell them hello.
Good job.
Thank you.